All right, do you just want to go ahead and roll with it?
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, namely unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance. We face our common difficulties. They concern, thank God, only material things.
The deep end with Darren Lipscomb!
What's up, everybody? Got another episode of The Deep End here. It's been a little while since we've had an installment of this one, but Zach and I have been having just too much fun doing the commentary biz. Speaking of Zach, we got Zach right here. Me and him are just going to riff a little bit tonight. Obviously, we want to talk about the big news of the week in the media. Well, there's a couple things we can talk about. Obviously, I was talking about Roseanne, and it's not Roseanne the person and her show so much as everything that just kind of encompasses all that. Like, there's so much politically about all that shit to touch on. But you know, since we've recorded last, Zach, there's also been other shit too. We had the school shooting in Texas. Holy shit!
Yeah, there was one in Indiana too, like a couple days ago.
Oh, was there? What's that about?
It was a smaller one.
I think I heard about that, and it got diffused pretty quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, still, it's funny, though. So there might have been something that happened in Indiana, but just because the shooter wasn't successful, it's not talked about so much. But it's just as serious.
Yeah.
Like, it's somebody that had a gun with the intent. It's just as serious, but yet people only make a big deal about the ones that, you know, succeeded. But I don't know. I think people should make just as big a deals about the ones that were thwarted. I mean, those are a pretty big deal too. But yeah, man, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and it's just hard to grasp, man. Are we approaching the end of times, or what the heck is going on here, man?
Hopefully. Finally, some good news.
The Roseanne thing is nuts, man, because that happened so fast. Literally, she made the tweet.
What is the tweet again?
Okay, so
because there's two things said in the tweet. One thing is made a huge deal about, and the other thing isn't talked about at all.
Yeah, nobody's talking about the Muslim part. They're talking about the black thing. So, and I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit, but she basically said, Muslim Brotherhood had a baby with Planet of the Apes, something like that, equals, you know, VJ,
which is somebody.
Yeah, one of Barack Obama's advisors. I can't even remember her fucking name. It's whatever. But yeah, it's funny though. Nobody's talking about the Muslim aspect of the joke, or maybe it wasn't a joke.
It's a conspiracy theory.
No, here's it. Kind of segues nicely into what I want to talk about the whole thing. So I'm not defending Roseanne at all. And, you know, the biggest issue with Roseanne is, dude, don't you fucking know by now? Like, if you're on Twitter, dude, fucking proofread your shit.
Somebody gave her this big opportunity. Like, we're going to give you this series again. We're going to fucking disregard all the weird shit you posted on Twitter before, because that was a thing. They did ABC did go through her Twitter and scrub some shit before they ever did it. So they knew that she was fucking weird and crazy before, but like, as long as the advertisers don't know that, we're fine making money off you.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because, well, first of all, man, they employed Roseanne in the past, and it's not like Roseanne was always controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't the first time she did something that raised controversy. It's just the first time in the Twitter era that she raised controversy. So it's not like it's a huge shock or anything, but I'm really surprised that these networks don't make their actors sign like contracts that, protect them against liabilities of like social media, kind of like sports teams do for their players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, don't go skydiving during the football season. You're worth a lot of money.
You know what she should have said instead of apologizing? She should have just, no, I'm playing the character. I'm playing into that stereotype. Like, this is a crazy conspiracy theory I would post, right? It was all just for the show.
I don't think anybody separated the character from the actress with that show, and I don't know if there is any separation. But it's a crazy thing, man. But so not defending her, what she said was
retarded.
Yeah, man. It's just one of those things where in this day and age you have to expect there's going to be some backlash. Like, think about what you say, stand by whatever that is.
You never call a black person a monkey. What the fuck were you thinking?
Well, and her response was, I didn't even know she was black.
I don't know.
But what's funny though is she wasn't defending the Muslim part.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, that was the thing too. Like, after it happened, her Twitter feed was pretty funny for a couple hours because she went, don't defend me. I did something terrible. I was on Ambien. And then within 4 hours, she's retweeting people defending her and then shit talking the same chick again.
Yeah, on other people. Like, she hasn't realized that her stuff is like visible when she is doing that. It really did seem like an old person trying to handle Twitter, and she didn't realize what she was doing. But yeah, the Ambien thing, it was Memorial Day. She was Ambien. I get it. I bet you $1 million she does. She's old. She has to rely on Ambien to sleep, like lots of people do these days. She had been drinking. It was Memorial Day. That stuff drinking especially does not give you an excuse to do shit like that. I mean, for God's sakes, people still go to jail for killing people, when they were drunk. Mm-hmm. You can't blame that. But no, man, but like on one side, there's a little part of me, I'm not defending Roseanne at all. I think people have to just stand by their actions and the consequences they bring. But it is a different era, man, because Roseanne is a comedian. And if you listen to some of her stand up from way back in the day, she always said kind of shit like this, right? Like in the stand up, there was, of course she's Jewish, so maybe she has the past to do that, but she made all kinds of.
She didn't know she was Jewish at the time. She hated Jews until she found out she was one.
Are you fucking with me?
No, that's true.
Okay, so she made all kinds of Holocaust jokes.
I was actually trolling her on that. I'm like, are you anti-Jisrael? Were you anti-Jisrael? Are you telling me you're an anti-Semite?
I mean, so the comedy was raunchy like that too. But it's not just Roseanne, man. Everybody was like that. Everybody kind of had their comedy, and it was just kind of the way things was. And now it's like, it's still somewhat more acceptable if you're on a stage a little bit.
It's even getting bad for that because who was that? Daniel Taj. I guess somebody freaked out because he made a rape joke. And then, of course, he's going to play off of it because he's being heckled. So he said something like, I hope she gets raped on her way out the podcast. Something. It wasn't that, but it was something.
It's like, don't go to a comedy show and get offended. Like, I think once you step into a comedy club, you are leaving your sensitivity at the door. You are agreeing.
Unless you're going to see fucking like Kevin James or someone.
Yeah, or Bob Saget. I don't know, but
he could be offensive too.
Yeah, but it's always weird to me that stuff can kind of fly on a stage, but the comedian can't do the same thing on Twitter. Like, why can't people see that people are comedians? But like I said, not defending what Roseanne said.
I think most people do, but it becomes like a problem with the fucking advertisers, which is another thing. Like, we need to stop giving so much power to advertise. Like, we're doing you a fucking favor, letting you sell your product on here. Don't tell us what to fucking cancel and not say and shit.
It's the YouTube monetization thing too, with that whole deal.
Exactly.
I mean, I get it. The that's where all the money is, man. So at the end of the day, the person with the money is going to make the rules. So you can't blame ABC for doing what they did. They for business reasons, they made the best move ever, because it's one of those things where they acted fast, and
that's another thing. They shouldn't do that. Like, let more shit come out and then make it. Don't just go by your gut.
I agree with you. I'm saying from a business standpoint, like protecting their fucking skin and their assets, they probably made the best move from that angle, because they squashed it and decided, look, this isn't going to go in anybody's favor. We might as well squash this right now and at least come out like the heroes and get some good press out of it, right? Because they did. ABC, like, way to go, ABC. All the actors and actresses like, oh, praise you, ABC, and the president of ABC. Because if they would have delayed that response, it would have just grew legs.
It's just false praise, though.
I agree. But it's this ridiculous thing. So I think for their goal and what they wanted to do as far as saving face, yeah, they did the right thing if that was their aim. Man, dude, Roseanne should have known the president of ABC was a black woman. Like, don't you? Jeez Louise. Yeah, the person that canceled the show and made the call was the president, and she's an African American woman.
She was probably like, "Fuck you, bitch." Click.
But my big thing is, I don't think anybody is irredeemable, personally, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And we have this immense, like, double standard with society and especially in entertainers and the whole deal. And it's ridiculous. And my whole thing is, I personally believe that everybody deserves a second chance. And even if they don't, and even if it's not like a second chance in the sense that, hey, you guys can have everything you had before you did whatever action, but they at least deserve a chance to make things right. You know, back in the day, if somebody said something insensitive, they would like make a large donation to like some Jewish organization or whoever they offended, right? Out of good charity.
Here's some money. Can we forget about what I said, guys?
You know, but I'm saying they would apologize and they'd make some charitable donations.
I know.
They'd do something, right? They'd get a chance. You know, and I just don't understand. I wish we would choose which side we're playing, because it doesn't work for me. I mean, if I ran everything, I would everybody would get a second chance. But if they're not going to do that, then they need to sit there and be just as harsh on everybody else. So I get it. What Roseanne said was not thought out.
They should have just like not fired her and just like, yeah, we're going to keep your show, but we're going to make jokes. We're going to write jokes at your expense. Shit like that.
But you know what's weird though is like, oh, it is so weird that it's not an even thing, because let's be honest here, man. People can make, I think still today, people can make all the Jewish jokes in comedy they want, and people don't get offended like you do with black jokes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that true? It's true.
There's a hierarchy of oppression.
There is a hierarchy, which, I mean, I don't even want to open up that can of worms, because, you know, Jewish, they died by the droves, first of all. Mm-hmm. They were gassed. But anyway, that's neither here or there. I'm not trying to compare tragedies, but there is a hierarchy. So it's like Roseanne, she says, okay, Muslim Brotherhood had a baby with Planet of the Apes, but then she's trying to like say, I didn't know she was black. It's like her thing is she just looks like the female lead from Planet of the Apes. And there was even like there was even the picture right next to it. And when she puts it in context like that, I'm like, okay, most people aren't going to get that. They're going to see ape and they're going to go straight. And you should know that. You should know that. But whatever, with her twisted logic, I see what she's talking about. But even then, let's just play along for a minute and say everybody was like collectively, oh, okay, Planet of the Apes, I get it. You're just saying she got the haircut going on. Because I'm like, okay. But then everybody's still forgetting about the Muslim Brotherhood part.
Yeah.
It's like
she's been like retweeting people defending her, and then like retweeting like Photoshop pictures of that lady, and then it says on the back, like, by it, I've always wanted to bring Muslim religion to America. It's like she never said that. It's just like, hey, we hate these fake news fucks, and then she spreads fake news.
That fake news, dude, and that blows me away too, man. Because there was somebody on my social media feed, and they shared that same stupid yearbook post.
Yeah,
that clearly wasn't a yearbook. It was a modern picture with a caption anybody could have typed.
You didn't know that they let you take a yearbook photo on a podium now?
and it was like broken ass English. I'm like, you know, I'm pretty sure she's fluent. But anyway, and it was this whole thing, and I said, look, man, I actually commented, I couldn't hold back, and I like the person, and I'm like, man, you really shouldn't be contributing to all this quote unquote fake news bullshit that goes around, because it doesn't help, and it comes from all sides, and I'm like, quick research could easily debunk this if people just took the time to do a little bit of digging, you know, multiple sources or whatever. Regardless if there's like any truth to any of these stupid shit, we don't know. Stop spreading bullshit, especially shit that looks phony as fuck.
Yeah, and even if she did say that, like, she didn't succeed. We're not all wearing burqas now. She's not in office anymore.
Well, I mean, the thing is that is for the extreme Muslims. That is kind of their thing. Their whole thing is to spread Sharia law worldwide, can convert as many people as possible. But that's a very extreme side to it.
Mm-hmm. But she's not even a Muslim, I guess, is what I'm reading.
Well, yeah. So that's the thing that's up in the air. Yeah, she was born in Iran. But I don't know. I really don't know her ethnicity. I mean, maybe she's actually Iranian. I think she lived in America most of her life, maybe born in Iran. And I get it. If you're in Iran, chances are you're probably going to be... But like I said, I'm not going to go down those stupid rabbit holes. If you want to share stupid shit like that, at least, at the bare minimum, have it be like an image of an actual fucking yearbook, man. Don't let it be some fucking fake ass modern picture with some caption on it. It's so stupid. It's just as dumb as the fake Donald Trump tweets that were going out there during the election. You know, him talking shit about Republicans. Oh, if I ever ran for president, I would vote Republican because they're the most gullible, blah, 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 blah.
That was the closest thing to the truth he ever said, and he didn't say it.
He didn't say it. Oh, shut up. But I'm saying, yeah, it's the same thing, and it comes from both sides. Anyway, so I commented that to this person, and they got all defensive, saying, oh, yeah, what are you talking about? Like Snopes and all that shit? Those fucking websites are bullshit, man.
Liberal propaganda.
I'm just saying, look, like, dude, think for yourself. I mean, just be careful what you post. I mean, bottom line is we shouldn't post shit without credible sources wherever you get it. He's like, well, fuck all those other websites that say whatever. He's like, here, read this. And he sent me a right-wing equivalent to Snopes. It was a right extreme website that had like all these fucking facts with no sources saying,
dude, it just proves my point. Like, the idea of just saying something is fake news is just becoming a way of saying like, I believe anything that emotionally satisfies me.
I mean, you know what? And it's funny because this person automatically agree. I guarantee you, like, I know this person, but they don't know me on a deep level as far as like politically. So I guarantee you they were on the other side of their keyboard going, oh, he's a fucking libtard.
Fucking libtard.
He doesn't realize I'm more conservative than anything. Seriously. I mean, it's like, no, I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to be one of these right wingers that is a hypocrite. I mean, because the fake news comes from, like, case in point. Oh, Snopes is bullshit, fucking fake news. Here, try reading this. And it's just the fucking fake news of the right side. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's just as illegitimate as anything else.
As all my children.
Yeah. But it blows me away, man. But anyway, like I said, if I had my way, everybody
would have to suck a dick and be humble. I forgot we're doing this show. My bad. I'll take that out.
No, you can do it, man. You could say that. You can keep it, man. It's cool. But make you humble. Everybody would get a second chance if I had to say so, right? And that's regardless of culture. That's regardless of religion or race or political affiliation. I think everybody deserves that. And I don't know, man. Like when your parents teach you when you're young to say you're sorry when you do something to someone when you're a little kid, are we just supposed to say fuck those rules now?
Exactly.
Sorry doesn't work anymore.
Fuck sorry.
Because here's the thing, man. Like there's plenty of people that have said some shit. You know, we all have foot and mouth disease sometimes, and Twitter is just now the grand scope version of slipping some shit verbally with your friends in private. But on Twitter, you do it with your fingers and it goes out to a mass audience. And just like when you might say something with your family or friends in private, you might go, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have said that. My bad. Okay, on Twitter, the equivalent to that is deleting the tweet. But at that point, it's too late because a lot of people have already screenshotted it, right? Mm-hmm. There's no going back and apologizing. And it's a dangerous thing. But unfortunately, everybody doesn't get a second chance. So if everybody can't sort of get that opportunity to make things right, then at the very least, man, they need to treat everybody the exact same way. If they're going to be assholes and scrub people from existence, take away their job in an hour, like just like batting an eye and putting out of business hundreds of people they employed. Because like on Roseanne, I heard that as of right now, all the writers and stuff that were commissioned they were already writing the next season. They don't have any severance and they turn down work to write for season 11. So it's like they're not going to get paid for that, and they have lost time on their hands. I think ABC, the ultimate right move to make would be to fucking help those people out, right?
Pay them like they already wrote it.
Do something like pay them extra. I mean, or
they're not even going to show the rest of the season, right?
They canceled immediately.
And then fucking CMT and all these places that show the old show aren't running that. Like,
see, to me, that's excessive. They're treating her like she's Bill Cosby. The difference is Bill Cosby was convicted of raping 3 people. And it's like, yeah, all TBS and all these networks yanked off syndicated episodes of The Cosby Show. Okay, that's fine.
I wouldn't have done that either, though.
You might have issues with that as well, because separating the act from the actual man and the art and all that stuff. And once again, with The Cosby Show, it's like, well, Cosby's a piece of shit, but are we going to take it out on all the people that wrote the show? And the directors and the co-stars and Felicia Rashad and Theo Huxtable and Raven Simone. I mean, am I my brother's keeper? It kind of goes back to that. Is one man really responsible for everybody? One person falls, everybody should fall? I don't think so. But there's a little bit more of an argument, obviously, with Bill Cosby's thing. But they're treating Roseanne, dude, worse. They acted way faster with Roseanne than anybody did with Bill Cosby. Oh my God. And it's like, I'm sorry, what Bill Cosby did was much worse. Much worse. And but yeah, so I think it's a little excessive. It's one thing to take away the show and put out of employment all the people that were working on that show. Okay, that's one thing. But now you're putting out all these reruns and you're cutting off the checks of residuals of all these people that maybe rely on them. Fucking Michael Fishman, what is he fucking doing?
Those kids don't do shit. Yeah.
Becky from Roseanne, the daughter. I mean, Darlene has the chew. She's on that shitty morning chat show. How do we know that Darlene doesn't live comfortably off of those residual checks that she gets every single month for every time Roseanne airs in that month, or fill in the blank? And
John Goodman, he's fucking talented.
Yeah, I mean,
how you gonna cut him off?
I mean, John Goodman will be all right. John Goodman makes movies. He's in movies all the time. But I'm saying, like, man, is that excessive? I think that is super excessive. Now, whether it remains to be permanent, I don't know. We'll see if it's permanent. Like if the syndicated shows start coming back eventually. It's weird how it works, man. But if Roseanne said this exact same tweet 3 years ago, before the show was announced and came on, it would be fine.
It would be deleted by now because they would have scrubbed it.
Well, yeah, that too. But I'm saying she could have said that, and then a few years later, she still would have got this deal. And if it was in the past, it's fine. It's because it happened during the show. Because we have this weird rule of like statutes. There's all kinds of celebrities that said fucked up shit. It's like when what I'm saying? Like the Kevin Spacey thing happens and they're lynching everybody. But there's tons of celebrities, man. We can think back. Like, man, well, 5 years ago, this motherfucker did this. That would never fly.
Yeah, who was the 007 fuck that was admitting to beating his wife?
Sean Connery.
Yeah, how did that ever go down? It's okay.
It's weird though, but like people don't scrub Sean Connery from existence. It's a timing thing, and it blows me away. But man, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words on some of it. I just think it's a weird thing. But anyway, like I said, if people can't all equally have a second chance, then at the very least, if you guys are going to be fucking this zero tolerance on any slightly racism or off-color misinterpreted joke or whatever the fuck you want to call it, then you have to do it for everybody. Because I thought it was the biggest piece of irony ever when, before they actually announced it was canceled within that first hour, Wanda Sykes, who's an executive producer on the show, she quit. I'm like, just taste that irony. Wanda Sykes. I've never liked Wanda Sykes as a comedian because why? Her entire fucking shtick, and it's not even a shtick, dude. She's dead serious. I've seen her do serious interviews. Is fuck the white man.
Oh yeah,
it's white racism. Absolutely, white racism. She could have
been that serious about it. She produced the show though.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Just like Roseanne employed black actors on the show, right? It's the same fucking shit.
Yeah.
And of course, in the wake of that, there was people sharing screen caps of all the tweets she's done in the past few years.
It seems like there's always like a thing where someone does something and then they all like, I have to let everybody know that I'm against that. And then,
yeah, I know. But like, I knew this before people started doing this. I've always felt this way about someone like Wanda Sykes, for example. Everybody, and this is, to me, this isn't defending Roseanne. It's defending equality, right? That's fairness. That's all it is. It's not defending what she did. But people were copy and pasting tweets that Wanda Sykes has done in the past few years. And in my opinion, they're fucking worse. She says all kinds of heinous shit against white people. Why is it okay? Look, if people really want to eradicate racism, then we need to treat everybody with the rules, right? I mean, you got to treat black racism the same as white racism, same as Latino racism, the same as Asian racism, Muslim. It all needs to be a no tolerance thing if you really want to eradicate it. So, and here's what I think would be an ultimate test, and it'll never happen. But what if tomorrow there was like a magic decision that was made where, okay, starting today, all of you, regardless of culture, race, political affiliation, religion, all that stuff, no matter what, if you guys say something out of bounds with anybody else, you're going to lose your show, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your legacy, and everybody that you work with is going to lose their legacy.
That would suck.
We're basically going to get North Korea on your ass.
That means comedy is basically over.
So, first of all, that's what North Korea does, man. Somebody looks at the supreme leader the wrong way. They look at that guy and be like, well, not only are you going to serve life.
Don't talk shit about Kim Jong-un. He's never going to die.
Listen, not only are you going to have a lifetime of servitude in concentration camps and hard labor until you die, but so's your father and so's your son because you're affiliated. That's the same shit.
Did you know they believe that he's never going to die?
Yeah, I know. He's a god. I get it. I know.
Funny.
I'm fascinated with it, which after we're done talking about this, we can move on to that. The whole meeting that never happened with Trump and Kim Jong. Oh, Lord. But anyway, my statement with this is if they decided tomorrow it was going to be a fair playing field and everybody was treated the same when there was a zero tolerance policy for anything insensitive from all races and creeds and religions, et cetera, everybody would be singing a different tune. Everybody would be wanting to call a truce real fast, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because you have Roseanne losing her job and losing all this shit and people around her getting fired. But then we'd look at Wanda Sykes and be like, well, I guess that leaves you too. And then we'd take her entire career and scrub her. Then we'd look at...
That means no more fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm? Fuck that.
Yeah, no more Curb Your Enthusiasm. Chris Rock, oh my God, your entire shtick was built on like white jokes. You're gone too. I'm saying you would have black people, white people, Latino people, everybody coming to a truce. We'd all be like, okay, we see that it's getting out of hand, and a revolution would be made, and everybody would shake hands and be like, okay, either we're going to agree to not be so sensitive, or this racism bullshit's going to be totally eradicated, one or the other.
It would be the first revolution where we go back to what we were before.
I mean, seriously. But do you understand what I'm saying? It's about the fairness of it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't work. If you made it fair, you're right. Comedy would be done. Creativity would be done. It would all be over and it would never work. And you can't do it because nobody would have jobs and you would have to come to an agreement, a truce. And nobody sees how it is unless it reflects them too. You know, because I guarantee you, man, think about it, man. I mean, like you have people like, who's a good example? You have these people that might cast stones against certain people when they're fucking getting dragged under, but then something falls on them too. And it's like, holy shit, you know?
Yeah. Somebody did that with Kevin Spacey or something like that.
Something like that. I remember it was something to do with the whole Me Too thing. And like somebody reached out and said, oh man, that's horrible. And then somebody's like, hey, fuck you, man. You did this to me. Holy shit. My thing is, by these crazy standards, nobody's clean. Mm-hmm. You know, if you recorded everything we said 24 hours a day for the rest of our lives, we're all guilty of saying something insensitive.
If you take the shit that we've recorded just on this podcast, you're going to find some heinous shit from me.
And me too, man. I don't care.
Shit I don't really mean. I'm just saying it because it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's for comedy's sake. I'm just trying to play from both sides here, man. I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not justifying the Roseanne thing. I'm just saying, look, either we, shit or get off the pot, or piss or get off the pot, whatever the fucking expression is. Like, let's go all in or back up and just quit crying about it. Treat everybody. I'm just all about equality. And if people want racism eradicated, then they're going to have to start treating it all equally, because racism will always be around, because it's going to be a teeter-totter. So because we have the argument of, well, the only kind of racism is white racism. No, it's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
If you have that, then eventually
it'll power plus prejudice.
It really is, man, because we're almost to a point now where, society, especially, let's face it, Caucasian people in America, these are the people that are walking on eggshells, right? And these are the people that are trying to please everybody, which I get it. They're trying to make strides. We're trying to be politically correct for everybody. But then you have, a certain ethnic, you have black people or whatever people with a chip on their shoulder, and they're keeping it alive, right? Look, I'm sorry. My opinion is, and people can hate me if they want, but I think every man and woman is responsible for their own actions. I am not responsible for what maybe my great-great-great-grandfather had a hand in. Maybe or maybe not. I'm not. Zach, you are not responsible. Mm-hmm. So people that hold on to these things for many generations, no. Look, the current generation is trying to do right. I'm not saying everybody's perfect. I think Joe Rogan said that he thinks there's a good possibility that with the way we're moving now, racism will be totally gone in a decade or two. I disagree. You're always going to have those small little parts of the world where we're going to raise their children like rednecks and they're going to raise them, but we can minimize that. And most of real civilization is super progressive, and we're honestly better than we've ever been. Everybody's talking about
every generation is getting more and more progressive. Yeah.
And everybody's talking about, the Trump thing, it set us back fucking 50 years back to the civil rights. No, it didn't. It really didn't. We're still super progressive, and everybody in my everyday life, man, the people I work with, the people I see every single day, I don't, do you run into racists every day? I don't.
No.
Have you ever met a hardcore racist?
No. What's funny is not my cousin Mac, but other cousins. For a little while, their mom was married to or dating some guy that wouldn't let them watch. If they're watching a movie and a black guy showed up, he'd be like, "Turn this shit off." He threw away their albums.
Yeah,
didn't last long though.
You know what? And that guy was an older generation. He was an older generation. And probably from a certain part of the country. But I'm saying that's getting phased out, because even most of the older generation, they evolve. We kind of talked about this outside of this podcast about Bill Cosby, right? Bill Cosby, I don't think he was really doing anything that a lot of fucking people were doing in the 60s and 70s. I think it was a thing to do. But the difference between Bill Cosby and those other guys is they stopped. And they evolved with the times, right? Bill Cosby never quit.
Even if you find stupid bro douchebags that are yeah, we're going to put roofies in a drink, they usually don't realize what they're doing is bad. They're just oblivious. They're stupid. And then it's that's rape, right?
Yeah, they associate rape with the force part.
Yeah.
So stupid. That's dumb. But but it's a lot of our generation, our grandparents and our great uncles, and that whole people who are now in their 60s and 70s, man. I know people who were in their 60s and their 70s that I've known my whole life. And when I was a little kid, when they were a bit younger, they come from a different era. They maybe said things that were kind of off color. They're great people and they weren't racist, but they grew up in a time where saying certain words was a little bit more commonplace. But in the past 30 years, those things have been eradicated. They've evolved, right?
Yeah.
And they just, so that's the thing. And I think that there is a difference between being a racist and saying something insensitive or even saying something racist. I don't think that necessarily makes you a racist. Does that make sense, or does that make me sound like an idiot?
That makes sense, yeah.
I mean, I think, any comment somebody makes, you have to kind of dissect it. Andrew Dice Clay, he used to do his whole bit. He'd make fun of this Chinese guy at a suit shop. He'd be like, "What's your name?" "Achoo, Gesundheit." "What's your fucking name?" "Achoo." And he did his whole fucking thing, and it's man, I don't know. Maybe
it's a fucking Nazi.
It's that Apu documentary that's been making rounds.
What's that again?
Okay, so this
the Simpsons guy,
yeah, this Indian comedian. I think he's a comedian. But regardless, documentary filmmaker now, who's Indian of descent, and he made a documentary. I don't remember what it's called. It might be seriously called The Problem with Apu or something. But and he's kind of chronicling his growing up as an Indian kid in America, and he talks to a whole bunch of other Indian Americans, and they're talking about how were you treated in school because of Apu. And they're all talking about, oh man, I got so much hell for it. Everybody's like, thank you, come again, squishies. And when you kind of see them put the spotlight on actual Indian Americans, I do understand it. Like, wow, I never really thought about that. But yeah, you're, me, I might not think it's offensive at all, but I'm a white guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, man, it's like, even if you take race, I get it. It's hard to be on a pedestal. If I'm a straight white male, it's like I can only say so much.
Cis white male.
But like everybody should be able to take a little bit of the piss on him. Nobody said Apu, for example, in The Simpsons. Man, he had serious story arcs. They gave him backstory. They gave him character. They gave him heart. They just had the fucking voice and all that stuff. It's like if you turn on the TV and you land on whatever channel on some show, there is going to be somebody misrepresented. They're going to have a homosexual character that's kind of like flamboyant and taking jabs at that whole thing in playfulness. You're going to have people that are making fun of people with illnesses. Lord, man, you know how many comedians still make AIDS jokes?
Yep.
Like, race aside, we can talk about anything that's insensitive, which I don't like going there, man. I mean, people make fun of people with AIDS and deadly virus illnesses. It's like, gosh, man.
That's fucked up.
It is, but people do it. It's like comedy's this wild, wild west, or it used to be, and you could stop on any show and you could find anything to be offended at. And it's just like, at what point do we just kind of buck up and accept it? And the writers in The Simpsons kind of were bending to it. Well, I don't think Matt Groening was. Matt Groening, I think he pretty much didn't back from it. He's like, no, it's staying. But some of the writers were like, and then Hank Azaria, who voiced the character, he's like, I think we're gonna really evaluate it and think about this long and hard, and if it's the right call to get rid of the character, we will. I'm like, The Simpsons is a bit of an outlier, man, because that show's been on for fucking 30 years. Mm-hmm. When The Simpsons aired in 89 and all through the 90s, it was a different time.
Yeah.
And then who knew a show like that? It's like if All in the Family was still on the air today, right? And All in the Family back then, Archie made kind of like classless, abusive jokes to Edith, and he called.
Were people offended by that?
At the time, no, because it was a little bit more commonplace. Same thing with
sometimes they write characters like that to be the stupid character in the show. Archie Bunker wasn't supposed to be the smart guy. He was supposed to be kind of dumb.
And I even think he called like because who was the spinoff? I think it was Sherman Hemsley. I think it was a spinoff. Good Time or no?
I forgot to.
Yeah. Sherman Hemsley and his wife, they were originally on All in the Family, and then they got the Jeffersons, I think, is a spinoff.
Yeah. I
think I'm correct on that. But anyway, Archie Bunker would say old-fashioned language towards like ethnicities, right? Mm-hmm. That is seems to, it's weird. So why is it that we can look at that stuff like a time capsule? And I don't know, it's weird. They're not taking Archie Bunker off the air is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, that was a different time. I'm like, I don't know. It's just, it's mind-boggling to me. I mean, I don't want to beat it too much into the ground. My final statement and my big thing on it is, look, if you guys are going to be this fucking extreme, I wish you weren't. I wish everybody, regardless of who they are, where they come from, got a second chance, but if you guys are going to be this fucking hardcore and zero tolerance, you got to do it to everybody. You got to do it to everybody. That's the only way to eradicate racism. It's that whole thing with Kendrick. You saw that fucking thing going around with Kendrick Lamar.
Oh yeah,
where he brought a fan.
What's funny too is like he's had white people on fans say that and nobody cared before, but it seems like because the audience were so fucking pissed off about it, he stopped the show.
Look, don't bring a white girl on stage and have her sing your lyrics to the song that you know has the N-word in it. And then, so first of all, you need to apologize to her, man. Wait, talk about shaming, man. We live in a fucking era where everybody's all about public shaming. To me, that was humiliating. And it's not fair, because my thing is, you have black people that'll say, that's our word. You can't have it back. That's our word. And they kind of use it as a thing of empowerment. I get what they're saying, and they're twisting it. And you can kind of change words, take on new meaning over time. There's a lot of examples of that. So I'm for that. Whatever, that's cool. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you are going to, that's a bad expression, by the way.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's confusing. Like, it really is. Like, what? Well, I mean, what, you expect me to just have my cake and not eat it?
Imagine every birthday your mom gives you a cake and says, "Fuck you, you can't eat it. Taking it back."
It's just for looking at, sweetie.
Yeah.
But my thing is, though, it's same thing. Look, either you're on one side or the other. If you want to make this word and terminology have a different kind of meaning, then blanket it.
I mean, they succeeded.
They did succeed, but here's
Ice Cube made it cool to say that, but then you can't say it.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, but if you want, even if you want a certain type of people to stop saying the word, then you need to quit popularizing it. You can't have both.
And they know that they're not racist, because, like, rap is the most popular music genre right now.
It is the most popular.
And I think the biggest, percentage is white kids.
Yeah, that audience from that Kendrick Lamar show, they were like all white, dude.
They're all paying to see.
They're all filling his bankroll. So I'm saying it's fine. Like, if you think it's a word that has a new meaning and it's going to be a hip thing and it's going to be in your writing, you can't get mad if people who support you, especially these people that are like young millennials, whatever, and they kind of grew up with that word being quote unquote cool, right?
Yeah, it was never anything negative to a lot of people.
Kind of, right?
Really
yeah, so it's
young.
kind of a weird thing, but you can't have that double standard, man. It's like, but like I said, if you really want certain people to never touch that word, then stop popularizing it. Ditch the word. Become Will Smith and don't use it. So it's like one or the other, man.
Will Smith does suck at rap, though.
Yeah, he does. Let's all just shame him.
Get jiggy with it. Fuck you.
Do I make sense, though, about like just treating everybody equal?
Mm-hmm.
And now it just seems like a power struggle. Like, dude, nobody wins this game. And there's plenty of people, oppressed people, that it's more about equality, right? It's about revenge and taking it back and taking and reversing some. And I'm like, man, you're never going to meet in the middle if people are, vindictive and
it's first world problem bullshit. It's like being a feminist, being pissed off at Laura Croft's boobs, while in other countries they cut off the clitoris of little girls.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just a situation where I wish, one of every single race can come together in a room and shake each other's hands, and because what's funny is there's oppression everywhere, but it seems like the biggest oppression we talk about is African Americans and white, that whole thing. That's the biggest, right? Because that's the most direct hit to home. It's pretty fresh, right? Slavery was just a couple hundred years ago or whatever. But that's kind of what only thing everybody talks about. Dude, go to Mexico. Go to some of the border towns of Mexico. There are Mexican people that are spiteful against America for basically taking Texas, Arizona, California, during that whole thing.
Yeah.
I
don't know what the fuck they like them so much for.
So I'm just saying, if you look at the school teachings and the way we learn about how it was almost more like a business transaction, right? Oh, okay, it's nice. But if you talk to some people in Mexico, man, they of course learn it differently. Like, no, they fucking stole our land, And
who knows which one's true too? Because
there's three sides to every story.
Yeah,
100%. And I've had those debates. And literally, I talked to somebody that had that argument, and they were super riled up. They were super passionate about it. And you could tell they grew up in a certain family, and their dad passed it on to them, and their grandparents passed it on to them. It's like, that oppression, right? That generational chip.
Mm-hmm.
And they got really mad at a white guy that was in a Mexican diner, and he was talking to his friend, and he was casually talking about the territory expansion, right, of America. And she
Is that what you talk about when you're with your friends, boring shit like that?
I guess. But this person got super offended about it, supposedly. And me, as somebody in the middle just hearing about the story, I'm like, look, I'm not defending either side. I'm just saying, I was just trying to put a little explanation to it. The guy that you got offended at, the young guy, the college kid, he's just kind of reiterating what he learned. Because that is kind of what we're taught in a certain way. Like everybody's kind of, and all governments do that.
Christopher Columbus discovered America.
I'm just saying, like, you know, it's the same thing. You go to China, go to Tibet. If you go to Tibet, where the Tibetan slaughter's happening and everything else, Tibet, that is their land. They are Tibet. They are not Chinese. They fight. They hold this whole thing. They are sacred. But if you go to China, it's that whole war going on, man. War. Tibet's ours. That's fucking our
it's
land.
Like that. We do it in fucking United States too. Remember that story about like history books in Texas, kind of like skirting over the whole slavery thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, they came here on their own and they worked for us. We paid them
very little. No, and erasing history is not the answer either. At all. But like going to China thing, I lived in China for a while, and I could tell you straight up, it's all about perspective, right? So I talked to Tibetan people, and of course they were dead set, like, no, this is our land, this is horrible, you know, screw those guys. But then I met so many Chinese people, young, middle-aged, old, and they were all not even necessarily hateful, just like dead convinced, like, no, that's our land, because their government teaches them that shit. Right. So all I was trying to make out of the Mexican situation was, look, I don't know how he said it, if he was being an asshole or if he was just saying it casually and you got offended at it. But I'm just saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong. Like I was telling this person, like, you know, I don't know. I'm like, you know, there's probably definitely some truth. There's probably definitely some truth to what they're saying. Right. Obviously some truth at least. Yeah. But just understand, you know, where it's coming from. Like this guy learned. This is how he learned it. But yeah, man, it's just a weird, fucked up thing. I don't know. It wears me out. But yeah, bottom line, man, everybody needs to be treated equally. If you want it to be squashed, you got to have one of every type of person come in a room together, put out their hands and say, you know what? I acknowledge that you are cool. And whatever your, you know, great grandfather did to maybe somebody that I was great related to, that does not represent us now. I refuse to be responsible for anybody's actions but my own. And I would expect that out of anybody else. I literally treat everybody as equals, man. I love everybody. I think everybody is just as valuable as the next person, 100%. So don't act like you're better than anybody else.
And I think we're all not valuable at all, but equally not valuable.
That, whatever, man. If that's your thing, as long as it's equal, man. So like I said, you can't have reverse race. You can't have it. Either racism is here or it is not here. It's not this fucking pick and choose bullshit, because that is going to ensure that it lives on and on and on and on.
Racism is getting less and less with every generation, though. So
it really is.
And the more educated people are too, and we're getting more educated throughout
Absolutely.
history.
I mean, fuck, man. There's been so much stride made. It's crazy. I get it. Not every president is black. We had a black president. That's insane. Yeah, we haven't had an Asian American president yet. It'll happen, perhaps.
It will.
You know,
yeah.
I'm sure we'll have a Latino one first because we just have such a huge population. But we have so many politicians that are Latino, and I mean, it's insane. You know, it's crazy. So I don't know. People need to lighten up. But what is it that we talked about moving on to next?
You said lighten up. That's racist.
I guess, man. Dude, we touched on it for a second there, man, but the Kim Jong-un thing. Dude, I think we all knew that something was going to go awry there, and it wasn't going to happen.
I was hoping it wouldn't.
Why?
I was hoping something bad, it wouldn't go awry.
Oh.
I mean, I don't like Trump, but I'm rooting for him.
That was such a big deal. That was such a...
I was thinking, like, man, if they're smart enough, they won't let him go in there and talk to him off the cuff. Put an earpiece in his ear. Give him a script to read if you have to.
Did you read his letter to Kim Jong-un after him canceling the meeting?
All I remember hearing is that he canceled it because he thought Kim Jong-un was going to cancel it first.
No, that's not how it went down. Man, I kind of want to read it.
Go for it, baby.
Let me, I'm going to pull up the letter, man. It's actually really, I thought it was a pretty fucking boss letter, to be honest.
All right. I'll go ahead and give some more funny things on Roseanne's Twitter while you're looking at it.
All right.
Hashtag Pizzagate. She believes that shit. Which is awesome. See, they should have made an episode about it. They could have had Trump guest star, like Trump shows up and stops a pedophile pizza ring. That's really all I wrote down. I thought that one was the funniest, so it's the only one I wrote down.
Where the fuck is this letter, man? Come on.
Oh, did you know that Roseanne got in a car crash when she was 14?
I might have heard it before. Tell me about it. Oh, do you think she's actually losing her mind? Because, people are jumping all over Jimmy Kimmel's dick for kind of defending his friend, saying, look, the Roseanne that we all saw this weekend is not the Roseanne I know, and I think she needs help. I don't think we should be so hard on somebody that has clear mental issues, and she needs help. And
that's been a thing people thought about for a while now, actually.
And people fucking, of course, lit him up, man, saying you can't equate mental illness to racism type of thing,
Oh, fuck you. He didn't. He just said it was a factor in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny, though, man, because they'll treat you differently if you're mentally ill and you fucking murder someone, won't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a weird thing. Yeah. I mean, if you're mentally ill and you fucking commit capital murder, you will not get treated the same as a totally sane person that did the same thing.
They'll give you a fucking medal because they're surprised you learned how to pick up a knife on your own. That's getting cut out. That was terrible.
Oh, hold up, man. Update here. This is actually 6 hours ago. Trump says the June summit with Kim Jong-un is back on.
Fuck this guy.
Dude. Well, if you read... I want to pull up the letter, man. I got to find that shit. Let's see. President Donald Trump said on his on-again, off-again summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will proceed in Singapore on June 12th as initially planned. Another dramatic turn in the diplomatic saga that has veered from threats of nuclear showdown to talks of peace over a matter of days. This is just today. This is just this evening. The first reversal on Friday. Dude, fucking Kim Jong-un, he responds to a certain kind of talk. Like, Donald Trump doesn't. He kind of talks to him rough. And I feel like he's one of those guys
he's like a battered housewife.
It is. It's like an alpha battle, right? And I think he does. I think he sees Trump as a bigger alpha. You said they're two sides of the same coin. I think Kim Jong-un is worse, man. I do not equate Trump to Kim Jong-un.
I don't either. I never said that.
You said they're two sides of the same coin. You fucking did, bro.
I said there were two sides of the same retard coin. So I was comparing their levels of the
but Kim Jong-un, he murders his people and, like I said, still has concentration camps. He has a god complex. Trump is a narcissist.
What do you say? You say Kim Jong-un is a god. He's never died before. Prove him wrong. He says he'll never die. So far, he's right, okay? God anointed his dad and his grandfather that, but God was wrong those 2 times.
I'm going to fucking find this letter, man.
I thought you were thinking I was serious there for a second.
No, dude, I don't ever take you seriously. Give me a break. Fuck, man. Dude, why is it so hard to find this letter? Everybody's got articles. Big websites have articles on the letter, but they won't show me the letter. But basically, the letter was... It was weird. It was like a balance of like professional, classy, but also very passive aggressive, right?
Was there any misspelled words in it?
Dude, fucking, he didn't write it himself. I don't know. But he didn't type it himself, but he clearly said the words. It was spoken like Donald Trump.
It's going to be huge.
He was taking jabs. He was basically saying, look, the door is always open, and basically it's like, I want to be friends, but man, I'd sure hate to use our big ass missiles on you type of thing. Our big ass nukes. He would follow like a very professional comment with something that was almost passive.
A lot of nice looking citizens you got down there. Be bad if something happened to him.
That George Bush meme.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big love of tower you have there. But
Did you ever hear the story about Putin stealing the dude's ring?
no, tell me the story.
George Bush was like, yeah, he was taking some guy that was like, he used to be like a football player and he had like a championship ring. Maybe he was a coach or something. He had one of these, one of a kind rings, and he takes it off. He's like, let Putin wear it. He likes football, and Putin puts it on and just walks away with it. And then George Bush goes,
that sounded like George Bush Sr., by the way.
That's I'm talking about the W.
Yeah.
Well, Putin puts it on and just walks away, and then W goes, we should probably let him have that. So he didn't ask for it back.
I don't know, man.
Is that how afraid people are of Putin?
It's a crazy world, man. But a lot of shit's happened in the last month since we had one of these, man. Isn't it weird that the last time we spoke on this podcast was about a school shooting and we've already had more in between episodes? Isn't that nuts?
Not at this point.
I know, I get it. It's commonplace. Which I don't want to get into that whole can of worms. We've already discussed that ad nauseum. But yeah, man, all this, in a nutshell, all this divisiveness, it really has to stop. Look, man, okay, here's something I'll add to close it out. And I thought it was funny because we have this whole like dogpile generation, this whole dogpile effect where everybody has to run with a pack. Now, Donald Trump's in office and most of the media, Hollywood media, is left wing. So you have all the late night talk show hosts, except for Fox, which, by the way, there's a reason why Fox has never had a successful talk show that could last. Why? I really don't know why in the past, but if they did have one, Conan got a big offer from Fox after he got canned from the Tonight Show. He went with TBS, but if Conan was on Fox to this day, he'd be eaten alive because that's the Fox network, and he would not be allowed to be outspoken about, Mm-hmm. I think there would be problems. But anyway, so Fox aside, you have all these other networks with all the late night talk shows with the exact same monologues, the exact same bits. They're all doing the same old tired Trump jokes. It doesn't necessarily offend me as a conservative. It offends me as a fucking lover of comedy. It's like, this is not comedy that writes itself isn't always good. It makes you a lazy writer,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to watch any of it anymore. I do not watch Colbert. I used to love Conan. I won't watch Conan because it's just not good. I'm like, dude, when I can see these jokes coming an hour before I turn on the show, you might want to rethink it. But anyway, so it's cool. It's cool to talk all this heinous shit about, the current president, and it's cool for liberal types on Facebook and in forums to make assassination jokes towards someone like Donald Trump. And dude,
I made that joke. I was like, it's going to be fun to finally see a president die in HD.
Look, I think, jeez.
That's terrible, though.
I think vitriolic hatred is vitriolic hatred, no matter what, right? I really do. You can't.
Oh, I don't want him to really die. I just think.
I know, but some people are serious about it, man. You can't fight bigotry and hatred with more hatred.
I'm fine just letting people make jokes.
Yeah, I get it.
No matter what they are.
It goes back to the thing. It's like either live and let live or play even Stevens, play it fair. But basically, I do see it, man. There's the extreme left really does get away with murder right now. And because it's all part of the wolf pack, they can. So not just the people in like forums and Facebooks and all that stuff, but let's just kind of look at their gods here. Let's look at Hollywood. Let's look at the late night hosts. They all, like I said, all they did was beat up on Trump and they beat up on conservatives, blah, blah, blah. But let's fast forward. Let's say 5 years ago when Obama was still in office. Let's say just for some reason, one of the late night hosts just really did not like Obama's politics. Let's say Seth Meyers. Let's say Seth Meyers, because of his personal politics, decided to make his show nothing but Obama jokes. Like as hard as they are all on Trump right now. Dude, he wouldn't last very long because he'd be sticking out like a sore thumb and there's nobody to back him up, right? I really think that it would never fly. It would never fly. It's, especially with the presidents of the network, It's kind of like when Norm Macdonald got fired from SNL because he was making OJ jokes, and the president of NBC was great friends with OJ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people that are cutting the paychecks, if they can't take a joke, you're in trouble. If they support one political party and not the other, you're in trouble and they can't take a joke.
Let's create a new law where there's no fucking conflict of interest.
Yeah.
You're fucking fired. You better hope someone you know doesn't become president.
Here's case in point. Case in point that it's not fair. Where we actually view different hatreds like in a hierarchy. I think hatred's hatred and all needs to stop. But case in point, Bill Maher last year, he said the N-word in a joke on his show, and he was given a chance to apologize. And he went the extra mile and had like Ice Cube and different guests on his show immediately following it, and he kind of got a tongue lashing right on air. He was able to make it right. And he was forgiven. Why is Bill Maher different than...
I think maybe because of HBO.
Yeah, maybe that too.
To do shit like that.
I'm just saying his situation shouldn't be different than anybody else's. I just think we just need to... Just come on, man. Let's be real. Let's be fair, or let's ditch it all. Whatever. But I don't know, man. Do you got anything else you want to add to this whole thing? I feel like I've got a vein bulging out of my temple.
Hashtag Pizzagate.
Jeez Louise. All right, guys. Well, that was our rant for the evening. It was something I just wanted to talk about. It's been bubbling in me. You know, I've been trying to hold my tongue talking about it in public or talking about it with people because I want to talk about this stuff. But we live in a society where we can't talk about stuff, and it's really, really frustrating. I mean, just look. I think it's a shame we live in this current culture where we have to be in fear of speaking our mind. And I get it, right? Like we know certain people that would never come on a show like this because as much as they have 2 cents to add, they have a current job situation that they feel would be threatened, or, you know, they feel like all the hard work they've put in to barely kind of make their big break is going to be ruined. And that sucks that we have to do that. And I get why people do it. You know, I get it. It's their livelihood. But it also sucks that we have to do that because all it does is feed into it. It makes this whole fucking movement stay alive.
Yeah, why are people getting like banned, or they're trying to stop people from talking at college campuses? Like Milo. Why did you just let Milo talk? He would have outed himself as being pro-pedophilia before he did. No, I'm just joking.
That was
just
a weird
let him
thing.
talk.
That was a weird thing. But, bro, I mean, look, back in the day, you could kind of judge somebody as an individual. There was no lynch mob mentality, this whole dog pile mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you could meet someone, you could learn about them, who they are, maybe their political affiliation, and you could not agree with them, right? And then you could choose to like them based on other traits, or you could be like, you know, I don't really want to associate with this person. It's totally up to you. But now it's a dog pile generation, man. It's like all it takes is one person to say racist, or I'm insensitive, my feelings are hurt. And then everybody catches on. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, is this a Salem witch trials? What the fuck is this? Mm-hmm. It really is. People get their pitchforks out. It's like people yelling witch and then everybody going into hysteria, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's a witch. It's like, good Lord. So it's a shame that people being afraid, the intimidation works. People are intimidated to not speak up. And it really shouldn't be like that, man. We shouldn't have like a huge chunk of people with their dick swinging real low saying whatever the fuck they want, even if it's really hateful in its own right.
Then we could sit back and laugh at those fucks.
Let's just learn to love each other and laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I get it. There are lines that are crossed.
There was a great time when we used to just laugh at bad ideas, and we don't do it enough.
It's just, I think people can cross lines, and we're all guilty of it. But dude, say sorry, move on. Rub some fucking dirt on it. We got to move forward. This is absolute bullshit. Seriously, people are allowed to grow. People are allowed to evolve. I mean, we're all learning all the time. Seriously. Do you get mad at a kid? Okay, so if a little kid comes from school when they picked up the N-word or something and they say it very casually, innocent enough, you teach them like, whoa, you can't say certain things where you got to be careful or don't be mean to that person. You teach your kids.
You got to fucking take that kid, beat the fuck out of him with a copy of Mein Kampf. You like this, you fucking Nazi? I'm disowning this little bitch. Fuck him.
People learn. And I don't think that ever stops, right? I don't think it stops at childhood. I think, believe it or not, Donald Trump is still learning, right? At 70,
he's still learning a lot.
Well, regardless, he's still learning day by day. I guarantee it. And I guarantee you, once he's done with the presidency, he's not going to be 100% the same person as when he went in. You know, experiences change people and people evolve and people learn. No one is irredeemable at all. That's kind of the final thought of it all. But anyway, thank you for listening to us kind of blow our gaskets on the matter. And hopefully you guys have an open mind. I don't think Zach, I know I did a lot of the talk. Zach and I don't think we weren't being insensitive. And I don't care. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I do not condone negative shit, racism shit, and people. The big thing is, look, what Roseanne said, it was not classy and it was not cool. But come on, like I think the matter is it's equal. How people handle the situation, I guess. But I don't know. It's a weird thing, man. But hopefully we come off as kind of in the middle as we can be, because I definitely see both sides of the argument. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. I want you guys to know that if you guys happen to be on YouTube listening to this, thank you. Please like and subscribe. And if you guys are going to subscribe, hit that stupid bell. And that stupid bell will then remind you to, you know, select how often you want to be alerted our videos on Revival House are showing up in your feed. You want to click every single time, because we don't just have this show. We have other shows. We have the commentaries that we do on the very, very regular basis. We have Retro Rampage, where we, you know, it's more entertainment game based. We have, you know, Mac and Zach Save the World. Zach's got his own podcast, which if you're, you know, somebody that tends to be on the sensitive side, you might stay away from it. But if you're not, it's hilarious.
You can listen to me make fucking kid jokes.
Jeez. But anyway, if you guys are on YouTube, do us a favor. We're going to put in the subject or whatever, what do you call it? The information?
The description?
The description. I can't talk, man. I've wasted all my words. We're going to put the iTunes links in there as well. Keep in mind, we're not just on iTunes. We're on Google Play, Stitcher, things like that. So there's something for everybody, no matter what operating system you're using. But we'll put the link for iTunes in all these YouTube videos. Do us a favor. If you like this program, or if you like any of our other stuff, please click on that link. Please leave this podcast, The Deep End, with myself, Aaron Lipscomb. Leave a 5-star rating, please. Leave a sentence, a quick feedback, a quick little review, something nice if you think we deserve it. And because that stuff really makes a difference in this day and age, because there is so many damn podcasts out there now. We got to be able to rise to the top, and those ratings and those reviews, they help us gain exposure. So if you do leave one, thank you, and feel free to let us know in the comments that you left it, and I will acknowledge it next time. And like I said, the same goes for the other shows. If you want to click on those, leave feedback on Mac and Zach, leave ratings for that, and the commentaries, etc., etc. But that's all we got. We'll see you guys next time. You guys have been great. Zach, you've been awesome, man. You've been a trooper. Thank you.
I'm a trooper.
He is a trooper. All right, guys. Till next time. Bye-bye, puppets.
Fucking puppet. I never liked the puppets.
Yeah.
I discriminate against puppets.
Yeah.
I'm puppetist.
Yeah.
These fucking puppets walking around taking my jobs.
My job!
He took her there.
Took her job!